Welcome back to Loan Officer Success Partner presents LO Spotlight, sponsored by Premier Lending. And this week, we've got a special spotlight. Really great guy, Jack Mann. I think it's an action hero name, man. Like, I don't know, were you like an action hero movie star in a former career?
Well, a lot of people say that they kid with my name a little bit and they go Jack Mann, movie star, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's something I've had to kind of get used to, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well, man, we're in the sales world, and I think there's better things or worse things to be known for, right?
Absolutely.
If you're confused as man, Jack Man, that action star, I think that's a good thing, right? And I've seen you in action, so maybe it's a fitting title, right?
Well, they say anything but call me anything but late for dinner, something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, definitely don't do that. And if you're watching the show, you can see I don't miss.
No,
So
I don't either. No.
but Jack, super excited to have you here, brother. At the end of the day, we chat often, and thought, man, let's get you over here and let's do a spotlight. You're out there doing some great things, but I know who you are. Let's let the audience get to know you a little bit. So where are you from, Jack? What part of the world do you hail from?
Well, originally I'm a North Carolinian. You
Mm.
can probably hear a twang in my voice every once in a while. But spent my formative years there, and then actually lived in Dallas a couple of years, and then lived in Atlanta for about 30 years with my wife and kids. And then about 2 years ago, we moved to Birmingham, Alabama, just for a little slower pace of life. Atlanta had kind of uh, had outgrown us,
Oh,
so to speak.
it's a good way to
But
put it. I like it. I like it.
we came over to Birmingham. Our daughter's in school here in nursing school, and it just offered a good change for us, and we've loved every minute of it so far. So that's my story. That's where we are now. What's next? Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you are an action guy, man. You get around.
One
Yeah, it
step
looks
ahead
like
of the
East
predators.
Coast, Central, South Central, right? And back to the East Coast, right? It's where you like to hang your hat. I love it,
Southern
man.
boy,
Yeah,
Southern boy.
so Birmingham, North Carolina to Birmingham eventually. Always been an origination.
No, didn't start with origination until about a year ago,
Mm.
with working with Chris Molesky, who is a close family friend we've known for a long time. He worked for a different or loan originator, and got me interested in getting into the business. And the more I talked with him, and the more I learned about what he did, I said, "That's something I think I can be not only successful for me, but to
Yeah,
help families out there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
individuals that are looking to have a loan officer relationship." So under Chris's wing, so to speak, learning the trade, and just got some wonderful support from the people in Charlotte at Premier Lending. So it's been a good union and a good marriage so far. Wouldn't change anything.
I love that, man. Well, you talk about Premier Lending, but I know you're with New Beginnings, and the bridge to that gap is New Beginnings. Great group, Brad and Chris, and just you got a lot of great guys over there. Uh, Claudia, who holds everything together, right? The
Yes.
glue. We can't not mention her. She's amazing. And at the end of the day, you guys are all over too. You got some folks that are in Kentucky, some folks down in Florida, over there in Alabama. But you guys are powered by Premiere. You guys chose to hang your hat here, and I love that. I love when a good collaboration comes together, and that's exactly what you guys do. I see you every day because we hang out in Rome, and you're inside of there doing your thing, and I see the rest of your team in there. You guys work really well together. And you're helping families. And I love that you said that, right? This industry is truly for the right people, the ones that are in it for the right reasons. We're here to help people. And Jack, that's what I see from you. And I see you out there doing what it takes to get it done every day. So were you always in sales?
Have been in sales for my entire life actually, and that's kind of what made me think to. And speaking with Chris, of why I think I can do well is selling is not really selling. It's more listening,
Mm,
listening to people and asking the right questions, and kind of determining what direction you can help them, what direction you can lead them to
yeah.
by asking the right questions and getting some insight from them. And I think in that process, you kind of develop a sense of trust. uh, and you earn it. Actually, you have to earn it. You don't
Yeah.
just develop it. And it's just very rewarding, not only from a extrinsic standpoint, from financially, but I think more so intrinsically.
Yeah.
It helps you sleep good at night, and you've helped somebody out. It's just one of those little, I guess, warm fuzzies that you kind of get.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I would say trust is built in small kept promises, you know?
there you go.
At the end of the day, you got to show up, you got to do what you're promising, and at the end of the day, eventually trust is formed, right? And just showing up to a meeting on time, right? Getting there on time or early, making that phone call when you tell them, "Hey, I'm going to call you at 6. I'm calling you at 6," right? That's when it's going to happen. And as they realize that you're meeting those promises that you've made and you're keeping those, you build that trust, and then eventually, you're able to lead that client to becoming a homeowner and helping them with something that's pretty special. Last time I looked, we spent a lot of time in our homes, and
Yeah,
you know, we want that experience to be a good one. And
exactly.
that's where you come in, Jack. You're there to help lead and serve. And it sounds like you got a good mentor there with Chris, the family friend that
Yep.
twisted your arm until you said uncle. And
He really became a part of the family. No,
yeah,
I think what Chris does and what I really um, latched onto was just Chris is very, and the word's used a lot in today's world, but he's very transparent.
yeah,
He's very upfront and honest with them. He's not going to, try to convince somebody to go a certain direction if he knows it's not good for them. And he's going to tell them good news and bad.
yeah.
Sometimes the bad news is tough to deliver if you can't, provide what they're looking for. But, I think in the long run, that's how you gain the trust of them when you've got the ability to share good as well as bad news with them.
What's important? The bad news is more important than the good news,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When you hang on to that bad news, and I've seen it happen. I've been in this industry for 23 years, and you've obviously been in sales as well. And when you don't make that phone call right away, it puts shadows of doubt in the client's mind, right? And then things get further and further apart. And by the time that you think you're doing the right thing by trying to figure out the solution and then calling them, you just got to rip the band-aid up and go, "Hey, you know what? We ran into this issue. Here's what I'm working on to resolve it. And this is the turnaround I expect to have it done. This is the worst case scenario. And
Yeah.
this is the best case scenario." And you may get yelled at a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're going to appreciate you. The agents are going to appreciate you because effectively you're not hiding behind the phone to deliver that bad news. You got to be able to do it. So I honestly think delivering the bad news is better than delivering the good news. Good news
Absolutely.
is easy. We could all do that. Hey, great
Yeah.
news. You're
You do
approved.
that quickly.
Great
Yeah.
news.
I've
We're ready
learned
for closing.
number of years ago, I guess when I was first starting out in sales, there was bad news that I didn't deliver. And I think after it got to a certain point where my client at the time realized that there was bad news that I should have told him
Yeah.
earlier, he called me on the carpet. He goes, "Why didn't you tell me this?"
Yep.
And I had no other way but just to kind of cower into the corner. And I went, "John, I'm sorry." And he said, "It would have been okay if you told me, now that we can just, work on it or whatever." He
Yep.
said, "Do that next time, please."
Yeah.
So when he said that, it kind of just, it touched off something in my brain that, I'd rather you tell me the bad news and deal with it than me to have to find out the consequences later when they're even more detrimental. So,
No question about it, Jack. And that brings me to mind a study. And I can't remember the specific study, but I remember they did a study, and they took a sales product, and it was the same sales product, two different companies that were going to offer the sales product. And in one of the scenarios, they had a faster turnaround time for the same service, right? And this is whatever the product was. Product takes weeks, not days, to close, right? So they had one that had really fast turnaround, but no communication during the process, right? They had another team that sold the same product, had a much longer turnaround time. I think it was like 10 or 15 days, but they communicated literally all the way through the process. At the end, they had the customers do a review, right? And which one do you think got the higher reviews? The one that closed faster or the one that had constant communication?
the one that had constant communication,
That's it.
no
100%,
question.
right? People will pay more for that, because It's the hand holding and letting you know, hey, this is what's going on. This is where we're at in the process. This is what you should expect. That follow up is so important, and clients see that and they appreciate that. And that goes back to trust being kept in small kept or built in small kept promises, right? Because every time you make a commitment and you follow through with that, and you stay in communication, you're building a great relationship. And, that's with your agents and with your borrowers. Now, I want to ask you something because, you are newer to the industry, and, we're doing rising star segment here on the Loan Officer Success Partner. And you talked a little bit about your team and having people there to guide you through. And I think that's always important, right? You're here, you're part of Premier, you're part of New Beginnings. And what does that look like? Because there's some people out there that try to go at it alone. You know, um, how do you feel like this would have gone down had you just tried to stab it at by yourself?
Wouldn't have gone very far. Would have gone probably in about an hour. I'd have been done. No, I think it starts with Chris, who laid out a foundation for me of not only his ability to help me, but also Brad. You mentioned Brad in
Yeah,
Kentucky, as well as the people in Charlotte that would, basically bend over backwards to help me with the simplest of questions, knowing that I was new to the industry.
yeah,
And I'll have to say, every opportunity that I've needed, input or advice or a direction, they've been more than willing to offer, the solution, the answers to the questions or whatever, and really made it feel like a family.
yeah,
We're not a large company. New Beginnings is not huge. Uh, Premier Lending is not, overly large. So there's still the ability to reach out to anybody in the company and be able to talk with them. And you just don't have that, I think out there, in any, large scale. So
yeah,
that was very comforting. That's what kind of keeps me going. I mean, just having access to, to speaking with you on a daily basis, Devin, somebody that can help me with the marketing that's been in the industry for 20 years and such. So,
yeah,
I'm very appreciative of that. And hopefully, it shows that I, provide my thanks or whatever, as well as to Jen, your executive assistant.
yeah.
That's just been phenomenal having the access to resources like her.
Team support, and I think you can even take that a step further. Our owners, right? Ferris and Fadi,
Absolutely.
we've got George too. He's over in Jordan. We don't interact with him as much, but if we need something from that team, he's there for us too. But I think you could reach directly out to Ferris or Fadi, and they're the owners, right? And you can have communication with them about, hey, I need to price out this product. Do we have a solution for that? Yeah, we've got these three vendors that do exactly that, Jack. Here's where you can find the resources for that. Or Ferris, he's conducting a weekly meeting, right? For the
You
whole
don't
team.
find that everywhere. I mean, it's not. I mean, how many people can say they've broken bread with their CEO?
Yeah.
Broken bread with their CFO. I've done that at Ferris's house. We've cooked on a grill together.
Yeah.
So
Well, and what a
that's
grill it
something I've.
is.
Oh yeah, it's not a little bitty one. It's one of
Well, you
those.
got your CEO out there. Let's paint a picture, Jack. You got your
Yeah.
CEO out there, and he's got his logs under the fire. He's starting this fire, right? He's got a little shovel, and he's firing this thing up and shoveling just the right amount of coals underneath the the grill, and then adjusting the height and get the meat on there. And then you've got Fadi taking it off the grill, letting it rest, and carving it just with those perfect slices and feeding it to you. And this is your owners, right? Like,
It
where
was
else
it
are you
was
going to get that kind
it
of
was
family
phenomenal.
atmosphere in a lender?
And it formed such an impression on me, and just to anybody out there that's considering becoming a loan officer, even if they come to work for us, you know look at who you're working with and working for. Can you talk to them? That's what's going to make you successful, is having support behind you,
Yeah,
having yeah, resources are one thing, but the support behind the resources.
that's it.
And that's what I'm just thankful for, and that's what's going to make me more successful
It
every day.
is. Yeah.
Um, it's what I look forward to every morning.
Well, and you've got leaders like Brad too, who is the direct branch manager of New Beginnings, and Brad's a producing manager, and he's out there getting it done every week. But what's great about Brad is he comes on the sales meetings and he talks about what he's doing in his business, and he's helping you guys figure out new ways to create successes for yourself. So you've got resources like Brad. you've got Chris, you've got Claudia. We're going to mention her again, right? And then you've got the corporate office. You've got Ferris and Fadi, and you have access to, I'm not, maybe I'm helpful sometimes, right? You got access to me
every day,
and
every
Jeff,
day.
right? And
And don't forget
you're not
Katie,
going at it
Katie
alone.
and Ian.
What's
Katie and
that?
Ian have both been very helpful as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to go at it alone, so you don't feel like you're out there on an island and you're getting support. And is it helping, Jack? Does it help you?
Every day. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that I go it alone, so to
Yeah.
speak. If it's from a processor to someone in underwriting,
Mm.
any step along the way, there's a very quick communication chain that we can go through and get the answers we need in the proper direction to go. I mean, I've talking with Andrea about an underwriting situation a couple days ago, just to be able to reach someone like that and get the definitive answer to a situation. You just can't put a value on that. I
Well,
just
yeah, and let's pinpoint who Andrea is, right? Because again, some of our audience may not have met Andrea. We may be doing a segment with her soon. No Lone Left Unturned. We'll
hope
plug
so.
that. It's coming out soon. Starring Andrea Allison, our underwriting manager
Yep.
and operations manager. So she doesn't just run underwriting; she runs operations as a whole. And here you are, Jack, new guy on the block, right? And you just said, "Hey, I was able to ping our operations manager and have face-to-face time to work through a loan scenario." Right?
She took my call. Yeah.
She took your
And
call. Where do you find those type of resources?
you
Right?
don't.
You
You
don't.
don't.
You don't. Yeah. So, I love that, man. And I appreciate you giving a shout out to the folks, at the corporate office because they care. And that's actually the core value of the company is care.
Yeah.
We care, right? That's what it's all about. And then again, I always want to give a shout out to New Beginnings, because that's where you hail from. And I already know those guys care, I mean, again, just listening to Brad and listening to Chris and talking to Claudia, who glues everything together and like how you guys work together as a team. It's just absolute magic. So now you don't just have the resources of yourself, you've got the resources of people that have decades of experience in this industry. It's almost like, you're going out on a voyage, right? And you've never done this. It's uncharted territory. And you've got the goats, like the greatest people in the industry that are like, hey, Jack, let's do this together, man. We're going to do this journey together, right? Who's going to get farther on that trip, right? Like, let's say you're climbing Everest and, you've got the best possible guides in the, in the space helping you
Sherpa
climb to the
goat.
top. You going to try that on yourself, Jack? Or are you going to be a little better served when you've got, all the best climbers out there with you?
No question. No question. I'll take a Sherpa from New Beginnings uh, or Premier any day.
My man, my man. I love it. I love it. Well, anything that you'd like to throw out there, just a message you want to give out or anything that's important to you that you want the audience to hear?
Well, I think at this point in my career with New Beginnings, what I have found is just again, I'll talk about the family feel and the teamwork. I know be a part of something that you introduced me to, the Call Stars
Yeah.
that we do every day from 9 to 11. It's a non-negotiable 2 hours a day that we use to practice not only our business, but that's when we make our calls.
Yeah.
That's when we generate our business, et cetera. Those 2 hours, I think, on a collective basis every week, those 10 hours. Without those 10 hours, I'm not going to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't have the diligence. I don't have the willpower. I don't have the accountability without that. And that's something that I've never had to be a part of. I wish I'd have done it 20 years ago. Had the
Yeah.
same thing. But I think that to hold each one on the team accountable, share wins and losses.
Yep.
I mean, we all have good days and bad days. One of the things that we do at the beginning, excuse me, at the end of every call is, how did it go today? Did you get kicked in the teeth? Did you get invited to did you get invited to a coffee? What did you do right? What did you do wrong?
Get a
And we
lead, you
can
get a
all learn from that.
contract. Yeah. Did you get the
Yeah,
door slammed in your face, and what was
absolutely.
said? Let's talk through that, right?
So I find that invaluable too, to learn there. And I get out at 11 o'clock, in the morning. I'm exhausted from that part of my day,
Yeah.
but I recharge. Grab a little nourishment at lunchtime, and then recharge, and then hit it in the afternoon with things that I've got to do as well from another part of my business.
Right.
Um, it's just a matter of
You're building
prioritizing.
a
I
lot of
think
those things out too, right? You're making the whole purpose of the outreach call, right? We talked about this before we jumped on the green room. It's not, hey, I'm chained to a desk, right? No, we know in this industry, you got to get out and face to face with people. So
absolutely
what's the 2 hours of outreach for, Jack? It's so that you can make those appointments so that you
to see
actually
the
have
people.
people to go out and have face to face conversations with that might help you amplify your business.
Absolutely.
And what you're talking about is accountability partners because, Jack, are you obligated to be at Call Stars? No.
No,
But you know that if you're not there, you're letting your brother Bobby and your brother Dom and Raphael and Pedro and Coach Rick and me, you're letting us down because we're like, man, where's our buddy Jack? We need Jack on this call with us, right? And that's really what it's all about. Is I'm not going to let you guys down, and you're not going to let me down, and we're going to go at it together, and we're going to win together as a team.
that's what gets me excited every day.
Yeah, we're better together.
Absolutely.
Great stuff, man. Well, I got to tell you, if you're out there and you're looking for a place to hang your hat, and you're like Jack here, you're newer to the industry, or you've been in the industry for a long time, and you want some professionals to side by side with, reach out to New Beginnings. And like I said, they've got offices right now in Kentucky, Alabama, and Florida, but licensure availability in I think we're 37 or 38 states. So if you're thinking about a career change, and we're not a career change, but you're just not happy with the support that you're receiving from your existing company, take a page from Jack's book. Jump on with some real mortgage mentors that care. They're going to be there to fight it out with you in the trenches, hold you accountable, and help you find success. Whatever point you are in your business, you may be already just killing it, but you want to do a little bit more, and you want to learn how to have a pre-approval specialist or start building your team so you can build your legacy. Man, we would love to talk to you, right? But if you want to talk to Jack and you're a client out there and you're looking for, who can I trust in this industry to do business with, or you're an agent, you're saying, hey, my loan officer's just not getting it done. They're not responsive. They're not following up. Call Jack. And Jack, what states are you serving right now?
Currently just Alabama, but we're in the process of getting licensed not only in Georgia, but Florida as well.
There it is. There it is. And when the folks out there want to find you, how do they get in touch with you, Jack?
Well, the easiest way to do it is to call my cell phone number. That's my personal cell, which is the 404-983-1823 number, or newbeginningsmortgage.com.
There it is. Hey, and if you are watching, you just saw that run right across the bottom of your screen. But if you're listening in and you didn't have time to grab a pen, it's okay. Just check out the description at the bottom of the podcast, and you'll find Jack's information right there, and the information for New Beginnings. If you're looking for a new beginning, whether you're a buyer, an agent looking to connect, or you're looking for an opportunity to work with a top tier team that's going to guide you through and help you get to the top of that mountain, right? So that's it. That's Jack Mann with New Beginnings, and they're powered by Premier Lending, just like this show, powered by Premier Lending. So, again, if you want to chat with us, look down there in that description. Reach out. And hey, we also appreciate if you like, subscribe, and comment. If you have questions, DM us. We'd love to answer your questions. And I'm pretty sure there'll be a link down there if you want to jump on my calendar. Hey, jump on. I'm always happy to connect with people out there that want to improve themselves, improve their position, and start building your own legacy. So I think, is that it, Jack?
Devin, I can't think of anything else, but I just want to thank you for the opportunity to spend a few moments with you. It's always inspiring for me to hear your voice and the excitement in it. And, I echo everything you just said to everybody out there. There's opportunity everywhere. I'm very fortunate to have a great one with not only New Beginnings, but with Premier Lending. And the change I made a year ago to go on board, I've never looked back.
There it is. There it is. Wise words from a wise man, maybe an action star. We'll have to find the movie. But hey, until the next time, this is the Loan Officer Success Partner LO Spotlight, Jack Mann, Rising Star. And I'm your host, Devin Dubuc. Great having you here. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, Devin.